Welcome to the Town of Sykesville Candidate Forum. I am Steve Enslow and I'll be the moderator for tonight's event. The forum is being held for the residents of the town to ask questions of the candidates running for the mayor position and 3 council member positions. All positions have 4-year terms. The election will be held on Tuesday, May 4th at the Townhouse in Sykesville, starting at 8 a.m. and the polls will close at 8 p.m. All registered voters in the town of Sykesville will be voting for candidates on this panel. We will be starting with the mayoral candidates, followed by the council member candidates. This evening forum is being streamed live on the Community Media Center's website at www.carrollmediacenter.org and will be rebroadcast on cable channel 19 and on HD 1086. It is also being streamed live on the town's Facebook page. We will start this evening off by introducing you to the mayoral candidates. Following their introduction, each candidate will have 3 minutes for an opening statement. We're going to start out with Council Member Stacy Link.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Why do I want to be mayor of Sykesville? Why should you vote for me? Because my resume is real. It reflects who I am and what I've always loved about our hometown. My 6th grade English teacher told me I'm a natural born negotiator. I've been fighting for my place in this world my entire life, and I'll go toe to toe with anyone on behalf of this town and fight for what makes Sykesville the place we love to call home. We've had the same mayor for 8 years. In the last 8 years, have you felt informed? My administration will be your administration. I will be transparent. I am process-driven, so you don't have to be. My transparency will assure that the interest of the community is always being represented. I will create an advisory committee comprised of representatives from every neighborhood in Newtown and Old Town on the west and east sides of 32 to assure all will have a conduit for a productive exchange of information. I've been on the council for 8 years analyzing and cutting wasteful spending. As mayor, this will not change. I don't believe in spending money we don't have. I believe that sometimes we have to take calculated risks with money for the improvement in quality of life and safety. I believe in a safety net and a rainy day fund. I don't believe in debt. In the last 8 years, the town acquired property that cost you all a lot of money. When an opportunity for a private-public partnership in the redevelopment of this very costly asset presented itself, the current mayor ignored it. I believe in calculated investment in our town, but it must be followed by seizing measured opportunities. I'm not afraid to make hard fiscal decisions. What is your least favorite thing about living in Sykesville? I've asked. The most common answer, I have no safe means to get downtown on foot. Amen, I say. During the comprehensive planning process, 47% of you named sidewalks and trails for pedestrians and cyclists among your top initiatives. In 2019, the town invested in a connectivity study. I will make the findings of that study a focus and work with the council and staff toward implementation. Connection of the southernmost part of the linear trail to our downtown has evaded previous administrations. It will not mine. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a doer. There is no problem I cannot solve with some creativity, ingenuity, and relentlessness. No one will outwork me. I'm approachable, I'm visible, I'm always around. And I'll be looking for your input. I am the trusted leadership.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Link. And next we have Mayor Ian Shaw.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Steve. Thanks to CMC and everybody for participating this evening. My name is Ian Shaw, and I have served as your mayor of Sykesville for the past 8 years. And over this time, we've experienced exponential growth and revitalization. I've worked hard to deliver on campaign promises I made in the past, and I do feel I have delivered for you, the citizens of Sykesville. You don't have to guess how I'll do as your mayor. My track record speaks for itself, and it's available for everybody to review. I believe our success is evident in the great town that Sykesville is today. I worked to set us on a better course when first elected mayor, and it's helped us reach astounding heights that many towns will be envious of. I certainly cannot take credit for our success alone. We have had many business owners, citizens, volunteers, nonprofits, councils, county and state governments all who have helped make our success possible, and they all deserve credit too. That said, good town leadership starts with the mayor, and I'm proud of the work that I've done that has put us in a position to succeed as we have over the past 8 years. I've set budgets that reduced our debt, enhanced our benefits, paid cash as we went, and reduced taxes as well. These efforts have positioned us to be able to take advantage of opportunities as they arise without adding additional burdens to our town residents. I'm seeking re-election this term to continue these efforts that have put in place, as well as continuing to redevelop our parks, enhancing our gateways, building out our 10-year comprehensive plan, improving connectivity, expanding and improving our environmentally sustainable efforts, adding broadband to our community, especially to those underserved areas, managing many maintenance projects with ongoing efforts, keeping our road paving on schedule, overseeing the redevelopment of Warfield into a project that the community actually wants, fully supporting our Main Street business community and downtown Sykesville connection, and taking care of our residents' concerns, and so much more. So hopefully tonight, this forum will help you realize what we've achieved over the past 8 years and will continue to achieve if I'm reelected as your mayor. I appreciate you taking the time to participate tonight, and I ask for your support on May 4th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Shaw. And here is the format for tonight's forum. I will ask the mayoral candidates a series of questions. These are a mix of pre-prepared questions as well as those we received from the public via email. The previously prepared questions, each candidate has a list and may have prepared answers to those. However, the questions that came in from the public, the candidates are not aware of, and they will be asked this evening on the spot, and nobody has had a chance to prepare those. I may also ask some follow-up questions to the answers that the candidates give tonight. For mayoral, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the questions. And as I mentioned, all the questions will be asked of all the candidates. At the conclusion of the question and answer period, each candidate will have 3 minutes for a summary statement. We will be timing the responses and will signal when your time is run out. If a candidate runs over the time, they may be muted. With that said, we'll start the questioning. Tonight, first question, we will start with Council Member Link. What are the top 3 priorities you see for the town, and how would you address them?
Thanks, Steve. Maintenance of Sykesville's small town feel, open government built on transparency and an informed public, and sustainable governments. I have consistently voted against overdevelopment and advocated for thoughtful redevelopment and infill projects focused on historic preservation, while the mayor and other current council members lack an understanding of the positive economic and environmental impacts of this approach. Second, open government built on transparency and an informed public. My administration will be your administration. It will be transparent. I am process-driven, so you don't have to be. I will always seek the council's input to assure there is transparency at meetings with county and state officials. This has not been our council's experience under current leadership. Where Mayor Shaw is cozy, making decisions on his own while keeping his council and you in the dark, I will never make hard decisions without considering public input. I do not accept that people not know what they do not know. I became part of this community not when or because I moved here in 2005. It was when I developed an obligation to this community that I truly became part of it. That obligation is simply to be there. You can expect that of each other, and you should most certainly expect it of your leadership. My opponent and his election faction, this ticket the mayor has created, implying that they only as a group of 3 men can be trusted, is the exact opposite of sustainable governance. Do we need a thriving Main Street? Yes. Do we need robust service for our tax dollars? Yes. But we also need sustainable governance. Without all of these, a town, our town, can disappear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council Member. Mayor Shaw, same question to you. What are the top 3 priorities you see for the town, and how would you address them?
Okay, well, certainly number one is the implementation of the 10-year comprehensive plan. I'm excited about getting that plan professionally done finally after the last time we kind of did it on the fly. So I'm really interested in getting the gateway improvements studied and implemented as quick as possible, as well as, for number two, for Warfield really is the big thing that I think is facing us. We need to rebring all these partners back into this conversation so we can get a project that we were supposed to get, right? So we need to get the county back at the table. We need to get the state back at the table. And the town is going to have an open mind as well, so we can get the economic development project that this parcel was sold for. I mean, so that's really one of the things I think is going to be super important. And then stormwater management. For me, I've been dealing with stormwater management and the revitalization of Main Street, Maryland 851, for quite some time. I've been fighting with them at State Highway to get first our streetscape project, which funding dried up on. Now I'm working on the subsurface infrastructure improvements. We got significant stormwater issues behind Vantage and Carroll, Brown, Central. All that water needs to be picked up. We need stormwater for Springfield. Also the water and sewer system under Maryland 851 that we're working with the county on. So all these things are important. But especially Warfield, getting everybody back. The biggest thing I think with Warfield is we've got a lack of vision. That's the biggest threat to that project. And we need to bring that back. So I'm one of the only ones left that has the knowledge of that entire negotiation with that contract. So those are my three things.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Shaw. Appreciate that. Now we're on to the second question of the evening, and I'm going to keep it with you, Mayor Shaw. What are your thoughts / vision for the future of Sykesville?
Okay, so thoughts that I have, again, I want to see the comp plan start to be implemented. I think there's a lot of good things in there, particularly the gateways that I really like that came out of that conversation. South Branch Park, there's more work to be done there. I've been working on this ever since I became mayor. It was really one of the catalysts for me becoming mayor. So I'm excited about that. I'm looking to work closer with Howard County to get really a shared vision there with them, because that's really what we need to help fund that. I'm hoping to get an arts and music type venue, maybe in the Sandusky building, for instance. I'm interested in seeing what happens in the back there in that back lot per the comp plan. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. I think we could remove parking restrictions on Main Street and allow more development there, and then use those assets that we acquired to offset that. Those assets that we acquired weren't wasted funds. These were for parking. And that was a huge problem that people had just talked about. And I think we've addressed it to some extent. I think we can have an open mind there. So I see that. I see, maybe a freedom trail concept like they have in Boston. It's really cool. It leads you around to all your assets. It can take you to the colored schoolhouse, take you up to the gatehouse. It can connect everything. I think that's one of the things we need to be thinking about. Virtual reality, stuff that we can incorporate for that. Again, broadband, expanding broadband and getting it down to Main Street and some of our underserved areas. I think these are things that I think are important. Connectivity, certainly. I think there's some low-hanging fruit that we can start to take advantage of. We've merged that into the comprehensive plan, but I think there's some part in there, a couple of low or easier to make connections that I think we can make. So those are just a few of the things. There's a lot more stuff, but we've only got 2 minutes.
Great, Mayor Shaw. Thank you very much. And Council Member Link, same question to you. What are your thoughts and vision for the future of Sykesville?
Thanks, Steve. My vision is one of undying small town feel, which is only possible with my persistent and unwavering pursuit of creative redevelopment of existing assets. I believe that we can retain our favorite thing about living here while increasing amenities to the community. Given the natural topography of Sykesville and the built-out nature of the community, the town does not have green space available to accommodate new growth. This is why my focus as town councilwoman has been creative infill development and thoughtful redevelopment of underutilized space, such as new mixed-use buildings, public spaces, and maximization of surface parking opportunities. These will be my focus as mayor. I've seen one too many opportunities like these come and go under Mayor Shaw's leadership. I've been part of the Sykesville Hive Coalition, working with Howard County Recs and Park to develop the apple butter warehouse in South Branch Park. Prior to the pandemic, we had garnered over $150,000 in in-kind donations in the form of professional services from architectural and structural engineers. We've assessed and priced the infrastructural restoration of the buildings and its conversion to the Hive. Upon approval from Howard County and the town, the coalition will start raising funds through private donations as well as state and federal grants with the goal of creating an intergenerational STEAM makerspace and community center for innovating and emerging technologies, workforce development, groups, programs, and activities. As the only elected body in the Freedom District, and in fact, the only one that solely represents residents in Carroll, South Carroll, I envision an elevated level of communication and improved rapport between Sykesville's Town Council and the county commissioners, and among town staff and the county staff. Just because the Freedom Comprehensive Planning process is not inclusive of our 1.6 square miles, we are not exempt from its effects.
Great, thank you very much, Councilmember Lake. Next question. There has been a perception of a lack of ample parking downtown. How would you address this perception? And I'm going to stay with Councilmember Link for this answer. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the third time I've been asked this question in a candidate forum, Steve. The parking problem conversation that we've been having for over a decade has unfortunately, I believe, created a larger perception that we have a parking problem. My involvement with this issue indicates that we do not have a parking problem. We have intermittent parking challenges. I've been part of the solutions to these challenges. In 2019, while volunteering at the farmer's market, a resident approached me, knowing that I was on the town council. He asked me, what could I do about the 2 reserved parking spaces in front of the post office? After all, it was a Sunday. I spoke to the town manager and Chief Spalding that next day, and the signs were very quickly changed out to include the post office hours of operation in order to optimize use of the spaces. So go ahead, park in front of the post office, whether you're running in to drop off a package you didn't have time to drive all the way to Eldersburg to mail, or it's Saturday and you're buying a book at a likely story. In 2016, after hearing St. Paul's concerns about limited parking during the farmers market season, I injected myself into the solution. I met with the church's board of trustees, created a 12-week schedule for farmer market volunteers, and worked with them to direct parking in the McElroy lot in the time leading up to the start of church services. This had a successful outcome. Part of the solution to our parking challenges must include improved walkability. Walkability equals less demand. Since the last time I was asked this question, 56 pervious parking spaces have been added at South Branch Park. As mayor, I will focus on a safe pedestrian connection between South Park and Main Street. And I will continually assess parking challenges. Thanks, Steve.
Great. Thank you very much. Same question to you, Mayor Shaw. There's been a perception of a lack of ample parking downtown. How would you address this perception?
Well, and perceptions are a powerful thing, right? So I think there are intermittent parking problems. But I do think it's going to be important for us to, that's why we acquired this asset, right? It wasn't a waste of money. It was to get parking that was, for years, everybody's been saying, oh, we don't have parking. Why do you think you've been asked this question 3 times in the past, right? There's not enough parking, not enough parking. So we've been hearing it. A lot of people paid impact fees, which I quite frankly don't understand. They were $1,500, which you can't buy any parking for $1,500. We've worked really hard to create a sense of place here in Sykesville, right? So part of that, and with this development that we have coming, potentially at the Sandusky lot, part of our comp plan shows some development that could happen there. If we want to utilize that space a little bit more, we're going to have to think about what kind of uses we put in there, right? What times a day they require parking, how we can, certain other uses will complement each other, so it's going to be important for us to think about what those uses are. Obviously, walkability is a good thing to think about too. The remote parking of an automobile, parking is changing, right? So we got to be careful about investing huge amounts of money in parking when the automobile is changing daily, right? So These are important, but I think they can be managed. And this is another reason why I think we should, I would like to remove the parking restrictions for Main Street businesses because they don't make sense. I mean, if we want to get another restaurant on Main Street, they have to provide 6 spaces per 1,000 square feet. Now, since we've acquired this additional parking, we can remove those, perhaps have that business open, and then use this parking in these spaces, at later hours, perhaps, right? So I think it's really just an allocation, working with all of our partners and trying to figure out some time schedules and things. But I think it's a manageable situation. So.
Great. Mayor Shaw, I'm going to ask a clarification question back to you. I know you've mentioned this twice concerning acquired an asset. Just for the general public here, what asset are you referring to?
Okay, so I'm referring to the Sandusky building, and which came with the parking lot, right? So that was the asset that we acquired, referring back to that. So, yeah. So and the council agreed to that. And I mean, so I don't consider that a waste of money.
I understand. I just wanted for clarification so the public knows what the asset we were talking about. And for the folks, that is in essence behind the townhouse, kind of in front of the police station for the town. Great. We're going on to the next question. Thank you very much. Question number 5, and Mayor Shaw, we will stay with you for this question. How would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
Okay, so one of the things that what we need to continue to do is work together, right? All the parties involved with the town businesses, certainly the town business owners, the town itself, the town council and the town, and then the downtown Sykesville connection. I mean, these are really the 3, prongs of our business community right now. So I'm really proud of one of the things I did after the last election, right? We had a little bit of a disconnect from the townhouse to the business community. So creating the liaison position, with Councilman Grassley, having him connect with those business folks and be able to bring that information back to us. I think that's been critical. I really would like to expand on that. I would like to do a little bit more of, participation in that and find out, probably could have done a little bit more of coming down there myself personally quarterly. I did rely on Al to kind of do that, but I think we could expand that a little bit better and have more of a relationship. I think we need to expand the connection with the downtown Sykesville connection as well. Having the communication lines open. They've quite frankly haven't reached out to me for anything. So I find that interesting. And I think there's a lot more that we could do if that stuff was brought back to us. So I want to work on that. Obviously, this pandemic has been devastating to our small business community, both the town as well, but I'm really proud of what we've done to support them. We've done grants, we've gotten coordination with the county. Myself and Council President Grassley had regular meetings with them. During the pandemic, bringing in the county commissioner and state representatives from the Department of Commerce. So believe me, I'm a small business owner, a brick and mortar owner, so I understand it, and I'll work with them.
Great. Thank you very much, Mayor Shaw. And Councilmember Link, same question to you. How would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
Well, as mayor, I will garner public-private partnerships for thoughtful redevelopment and infill projects of town-owned property. Calculated investment in our town must be followed by seizing measured opportunities. This has not been Mayor Shaw's practice, who has intentionally pushed aside 2 opportunities for the redevelopment of the Sandusky Road property during 2 separate RFP processes. Secondly, we will continue to invest in the downtown Sykesville connection, which has yielded a $2 million return on investment since 2012. All of this money has been directly reinvested into Sykesville's economic development and business sustainability. An example of this return on investment is the very visible revitalization of our Main Street. $200,000 has been awarded to the town through the facade improvement grant, a grant that Sykesville would not even qualify for without an accredited Main Street program. The Downtown Sykesville Connection created a rent relief grant program and distributed $62,000 directly into the hands of downtown business owners during the pandemic. This is another form of state funding made available only to Main Street programs. not to municipalities. There's a reason why Sykesville's Main Street Business District has been 100% occupied for 5 years running.
Great, thank you very much. And I must say, for both candidates, the information you guys are providing are wonderful and maybe used later for questions for our council members. So for this election or the people who are running for council. Thank you so much. We are going to go to the next question of the evening, and council person member Link, we're going to stay with you. And we touched on this earlier, at least in one of the answers, but for you, what do you believe is the biggest challenge that the Warfield development currently faces?
If I'm being honest, the current relationship between Mayor Shaw and the developers, combined with a 3-year-long failure to hold the developers accountable to the development schedule, is our biggest challenge. By now, the developers were to have invested $2.2 million for historic building restoration and an additional $525,000 by next month. To date, the developers have invested only $274,000 on stabilization of the buildings. The town sold the Warfield complex to the developers in June 2018. Under the current mayor's watch, the developers have fallen into default on our sales agreement, while the historic buildings have only further deteriorated. The developer has grabbed that low-hanging fruit and is throwing out the mixed-use employment campus plan, whispering of an additional 475 housing units. Our current mayor has been the self-appointed council representative overseeing the Warfield project, but it's only now that you're hearing about this high-density housing plan. As mayor, I will respect the original vision of the citizens of Sykesville, which is currently reflected in that contract. I will have nothing to do with high-density housing that will strain our administrative, public safety, and public works resources, accelerate wear and tear on our roads, overload our already crowded schools, and furthermore, I will pursue all legal means at our disposal regarding the ramifications for the developer's current and imminent default status and use them as negotiation tools. I will assure that you have a say as to how this moves forward.
Great, thank you very much. And Mayor Shaw, same question to you. What do you believe is the biggest challenge the Warfield development currently faces?
Well, as I said before, the biggest threat to this project is a lack of a shared vision. So we have a vision, the town does, of a live, work, and play environment over there, right? So they have a vision of a housing project. And that's not what we sold this for, right? So we worked with the county, with the state, and with the town to sell this project for a mixed use project. So just rest assured, folks, they don't have the zoning to do anything else because we've negotiated this project. There's only housing enough for 39 more units, right? So without a huge zoning change to what we negotiated, they will not have anything. And rest assured, the council negotiated this with me. I served on the development board of the Warfield Development Board, and that's how we got started here. That's what the mayor's role was, to negotiate this project. I worked with the town attorney. I'm still working with our town attorney, with the town manager, and he's briefed the full council on all of this. Doesn't make sense to sue these people. It's a shell corporation, right? So there's no money. The best way to do it is to negotiate, and this is going to be an easy decision, folks, because we're not going to roll over and build 400 apartments in there. You can rest assured that's never going to happen. And unfortunately, the developer just doesn't seem to get that message. So they haven't put out this plan, by the way. So this is just stuff they've been floating around, and we've heard secondhand by the community. We have had no proposal brought to us that hasn't been shared with anybody. So rest assured, once it's shared with the public, we'll all get to see it at the same time, because I was locked out of their meetings on purpose. So anyway, we're going to get a mixed use. We're going to have to bring the state back in. We're going to have to bring the county back in, and we're going to have to bring the town, and we're all going to have to re-energize this effort to get this is supposed to be an economic development hub of Carroll County, and that's what we're going to work on.
Great, thank you, Mayor Shaw. And I must commend both candidates here. There were a few follow-up questions that meant to be asked, but you answered those already without knowing. So thank you very much on that. which just means we'll have another question at the end from our general public. So, but thank you very much. Okay, this next question will be to Mayor Shaw. And that question is, can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program and its value for the town of Sykesville and your plan to utilize it in the future?
Yeah, so absolutely. So we started this thing, God, I want to say it was in 2007, or I mean, it's been a long time ago. So I can't remember the exact day when we started going down. And look, I went down to Annapolis, took the Main Street training. I served on the Economic Development Committee for 4 years for the Main Street. This is an invaluable program, right? So, and as Council Member Link mentioned, there's a lot of benefits to come with having a Main Street designation. However, we got to be mindful too. There's a lot of threats that come, to this relationship with the townhouse. So we got to be careful about that. I've seen that. We shouldn't be drawing the downtown Sykesville connection into politics, nor should we be drawing our business folks into politics. It's a threat. So that's one thing I think we need to have a conversation about. But rest assured, look, I've supported them as soon as after the last election, we got it worked right away. I mean, it was really like a week that next week on getting the nonprofit, the MOU worked out, and it has allowed them to thrive like never before. That organization getting it out of the townhouse was the best thing ever that happened for us, and it's really paid off in spades. And so I'm super proud of that. This program and all they've done, the volunteers, all the people, Julie Della Maria, I mean, you can't say enough about them. All the business owners too have had to buy into this program. So it's been a great group effort, and the town has supported them. Look, you won't find one vote where I've voted against anything for the downtown Sykesville connection in the whole entire. And look, this is before Councilmember Link was on the staff. I sold apple butter over there with Ivy Link, with people dipping it in French fries, right? And we were doing that to raise money for that. So, I mean, it's been a great program. We've done a lot of work, and I'll keep supporting it.
Great, thank you very much, Mayor Shaw. And to Council Member Link, same question to you. Can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town of Sykesville, and your plan to utilize it if you were elected mayor?
Well, the Main Street program is why I'm sitting here right now. It was where I started my service to the town 10 years ago. The day the Main Street program received their notification of being accredited by the national and state accreditation boards, I was on that email thread. So I'm not going to sit here and take up a lot of time explaining what I know about the Main Street program, because I know it all. I've been consistent with my message that if you don't have a healthy downtown, you just don't have a healthy town. I don't know, given the Main Street program is administered by the Downtown Sykesville Connection, and that's our economic development engine, I will never waver in my support for the program. How will I utilize them in the future? I will let them lead. I don't see them as a threat. They are the experts. They are the ones with their finger on the pulse of market trends, methods, and the priorities and practices that make Main Street programs and the approach of their programs work. I guess I would like to see a town council member maybe participate in the National Main Street Conference with the program's executive director or a board member. And I know that there was some update in the newsletter. Let me see if I can find it here. If you give me a second. Here's some numbers. It said Sykesville's Main Street program was designated in 2012. Its economic investment has resulted in $2 million in 106 private investment projects, $206,000 in 27 public improvement projects, 29 new businesses, 107 new jobs created, $64,000 in direct financial support to local businesses in 2020, and 28,102 volunteer hours valued at $715,000.
Right. Thank you very much, and some good numbers there. Let's keep the line of questioning along the same lines. And Council Member, we're going to come back to you on this one. Since 2018, I believe the town of Sykesville has donated $50,000 each year to the Sykesville's Downtown Connection. My question for each of the candidates, and starting with you, Council Member Link, is do you feel that amount is too much, not enough, just right, and or why?
Well, I'm going to say it's definitely not too much, given the fact that, as I just mentioned, the reinvestment or our return on investment as a town and as an economic district, or I should say a business district, has been $2 million. I think $50,000 investment a year is a pretty good return. I guess I would say I'm comfortable with it, with the annual investment of the town's funds or of the residents' funds into that program. I mean, the other thing you have to consider is that the Downtown Sykesville Connection has successfully applied for and administered over $400,000 worth of grant funding that's been directly reinvested as well. The numbers that I just mentioned don't even include the grant funding. The Community Legacy grant that we've received helped us to purchase the creamery and allow it to be redeveloped. And I would also want to mention, I think it was the facade improvement grant, which I did mention, that's $200,000 over the course of 10 years, $50,000 in matching funds for property owners to improve their facades. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm comfortable with the 50,000.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Mayor Shaw, it is the same question. Since 2018, the town of Sykesville has donated $50,000 annually to the Sykesville's Downtown Connection. My question for you is that the right amount, not enough, or just right?
So I too feel, look, this has been a great investment, right? So it actually worked out better for us doing this as the nonprofit and then making that donation to them. It's actually a better situation. It's way better for them. It's easier for them to do it, and it worked out better. I think there's opportunities where, and we've demonstrated that this year with COVID-19. Obviously, they were struggling. They've done a good job at getting some grants and patching the holes. But you know, when asked, I think the town can help more, to be honest with you. And I do think there's bang for the buck here. You know, we're getting our money's worth. So I feel that way 100%, right? Look at our downtown. They're largely responsible for most of the stuff that's happening in our downtown, and keeping these and administering the facade grant's been huge. It's really looks great. So, I mean, I think the value is there. You know, we sponsored the golf tournament during the pandemic. I thought that helped, and it's not a lot of money. I think we can do some other things to partner with them a little bit more when needed, and sponsor, and then the return will come back to the town. So I think it's a good investment. And if there are other needs where we can patch some holes, especially during difficult times like this, I think we should consider it.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mayor Shaw. The next question. Good question here. One from this one was submitted by one of our residents, and I'll just cut right to the question. What do you feel is the most important job as mayor? And that is to you, Mayor Shaw.
Well, I think the most important job is to kind of set sort of the leadership role for us, right? And to guide, I got to work with the staff. So that's really important. Our town manager, coordinate daily activities. That there's a lot that goes on in running a town. So I think that's the main role. And then obviously keeping the council on track, keeping them informed when necessary, working with staff when it's not council related stuff. And then just being the face of the town. We've worked really hard to create a sense of place here in Sykesville, and sharing that with people. And then every time I talk to our state, our county officials, you know, I talk to them, and look, whenever people say, oh, Sykesville, it's a great, I always say, we've had a great group of people pulling together, right? And making it our success possible. I never take credit for all of our success myself, but I think it's so important to be an advocate for the town at the state level. I fight hard whenever we got a state issue. State highway, those folks, man, they hate seeing me on these meetings. They know I'm coming and I'm not letting up. I'm like a pit bull when it comes to getting stuff done, and they know I'm not going away. So, I fight for us there. I fight for us the county. I'm passionate about this town, and people know it. They feel it and they share it, and they know you're not going away, right? They try to blow you off all the time. And I come back. I'm like the guy from Shawshank, right? He said, hey, they delivered the books. After 6 years of writing one letter at a time, now I write two, every week. So we're going to keep it going. And I think being a passionate face of the town and advocating for it whenever the need comes up and people feel that. So that's what I think is the most important.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Shaw. And Councilperson Link, what do you feel is the most important job as mayor?
Well, I mean, undoubtedly, the most important job is literally showing up and being there and being approachable and being transparent and informative for not just the residents, but by virtue of being that for your council, you are representing your residents. And I can speak for myself, and I'd love the opportunity for the current town council members to be asked if they feel the way I do. And I can tell you that many of them will share the same sentiments, that we have been on the receiving end of cherry-picked information shared by our mayor with us. We are left to feel in the dark on many big decisions and negotiations. And we have provided the mayor with our blessing, if you will, to go out and make decisions and negotiate with certain entities and third parties. And what comes back to us is that which we didn't give him the authority to do. We thought we were going to sell the Sandusky property less than a year after we purchased it. And I believe even the person that thought they were going to be able to buy it thought they were going to be able to buy it because of a conversation with our mayor. The point is that if you're a pit bull, then you're not indecisive, because pit bulls are quick decision makers, sometimes too quick. And my experience is that Mayor Shaw is not a decisive person, and that he prefers to keep information to himself so that he doesn't have to consider other person's input. If he's not representing the council on the whole, there's no way he's representing our citizenry. So that's I think the biggest job is one that's completely being missed by our current mayor.
Great, thank you, Councilmember Link. Looking at the time here, I believe we have one question, possibly two left, depending on the responses. Next question, we are going to go to Councilperson Link first, and one near and dear to my heart. There are lots of great ideas in the proposed 10-year comprehensive plan. What is the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited? And this is to Councilperson Link.
Thank you, Steve. I'm scrolling down here to an answer that I'd like to actually make sure I touch on everything. It would be about, because the answer is connectivity. Let me go up here. I believe it's, yeah, number 3. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Yeah. In 2019, the town paid for a connectivity study, which identified 13 specific projects to improve and extend the sidewalk network, construct additional trails, and improve existing trails. This will be a major undertaking and will likely take a decade to accomplish in its entirety. But we are in a position to begin the implementation of these plans now. I look to create a town planner position in replacement of the special project manager position vacated in 2020. A planner will be key to the implementation of the connection projects moving forward, as well as the related grant writing. We have budgeted for the engineering and feasibility efforts towards connectivity and placemaking around town. In the meantime, our fight continues in Annapolis with respect to retaining highway user revenues beyond 2024, albeit at their current 85% of calculated funding rate. Our end game is to restore that funding to 100%. This certainty is in the continuity of highway user revenues funding will go a long way in the building out of our sidewalks and bike paths. So to answer your question, the most exciting thing for me is connectivity with respect to that comprehensive plan.
Thank you very much, Councilperson Link. To Mayor Shaw, the same question. Lots of great ideas in the proposed 10-year comprehensive plan. What is the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited?
So the thing that gets me, and by the way, folks, just remember, I'm just one member of this council. So, council's been getting all the information. I just wanted to share that. Our manager has been excellent in getting out the information. So this is not an accurate statement. But anyway, the thing that gets me most exciting is the gateway improvements, right? We had some good conversations about those, some great connectivity. Again, this is going to take working with State Highway probably right away. And I think it'll be more leverage to get them to step up to the plate for Maryland 851. So I'm super excited about showing them some of these concepts and say, here's what we need to do. We need to get people, and it is part of connectivity. We need to be able to get people safely over from that bridge over to South Branch Park. And right now it's not happening. So those gateway improvements really looked pretty cool. I think it would be a grand entrance to the town. I'm super excited about maybe starting there. I'm excited about seeing what we can maybe do in the back, again, with arts, music, arts venue, possibly in the back in that Sandusky area. I don't know if it's possible, but it's something that excites me looking at it on the plan. Again, everything looks great, but it takes a lot of work, and with staff, with council, with State Highway. If you're looking at Maryland 851, they have very strict rules. One of the things I want to get that road, fixed and owned by the town so that we can do a lot more things with it. Connectivity is definitely important. It is part of this plan. And I think, I'm starting to look at where we can get low hanging fruit, where there's maybe only one house where we can acquire the property, put in a sidewalk. We're missing a lot of sidewalks. It's an older town, and it does keep me up at night with having our kids walk on the roads. I've fought with them and got crosswalks right there at Oklahoma and Sandusky. They don't want to do those. And there's another opportunity for more crosswalks. So that, and just working on that, but the gateways are my biggest thing.
Thank you very much, Mayor Shaw. Greatly appreciate it. I think at this point, the question and answer for the mayoral candidates will conclude. And I want to thank both candidates for their participation this evening and the public who submitted questions for the candidates. Some very, very good, thought-provoking questions and discussed this evening. So thank you very much. What I'd like to do is, before we move away, I'd like to have a closing from both candidates. I am going to ask Councilperson Link to go ahead and do the first one, given Mayor Shaw had just answered that last question. So if it's okay with you, Councilperson Link, and you want to close, please do.
Thank you, Steve. I've asked residents, what do you love most about living in Sykesville? Hands down, the most common answer, small town feel, and I feel safe here. Me too. While I have consistently voted against overdevelopment and advocated for thoughtful redevelopment of existing assets and infill projects focused on historic preservation, our current council president and mayor lack an understanding of the positive economic and environmental impacts of this approach. As for safety, I hired our current chief of police, and finally, we are retaining high-quality officers. But for a period of 16 years, we had lost 27 officers to surrounding police departments, which equates to a $270,000 loss in hiring costs. Last year, we invested in LEPOS, the law enforcement officers' pension system. This is a picture-perfect example of why we must invest to save. A resident shared with me something her neighbor said to her. Do you really want a woman negotiating with the Warfield developers? When I shared this sentiment with another resident, Her response was a resounding, yes, this woman. A vote for me would be a vote for transparency and process, fiscal responsibility and safety, for connectivity and a strong sense of community, preservation of our history and of that small town feel we all love so much. A vote for Stacy Link is a vote for Sykesville's first female mayor. Thank you for your time and for your attention, everyone. And thank you, Steve. I should have thanked you on the outset. I appreciate your time and your volunteering, not only here this evening, but as moderator in previous forums, and also for your undying and relentless time that you've spent as a planning commissioner here and what you do for our town. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilperson Lake. Greatly appreciated. And to you, Mayor Shaw, closing.
Okay, so I hate to start off with a bit of a information point, but actually hiring Chief Spalding was something that I did right away when I was first elected mayor, you know, so, and we involved the Bureau of Chiefs of Police and all that stuff. And it has been a great hire. Obviously the council works on approving that though. So just wanted to be clear on that. So, but definitely look, thanks everybody for taking the time to watch and participate in this forum tonight. I've really appreciate it. If reelected, rest assured, I'll continue to very best of my ability to serve you, the citizens of Sykesville, as I have over the past 8 years. You know, and I know many people say, oh, the mayor shouldn't take credit for all of our success over the last 8 years. And look, as I stated at the opening of this forum, I agree. Many people have helped us succeed, and I'm proud of that, not one bit ashamed of it, right? I'm always proud to recognize that many people who have helped our town on this journey and look forward to continuing to work with each and every one of them, despite our differences that we may have. I too look at those differences as strengths, not weaknesses. I believe our uniqueness makes us stronger as a community. So rest assured, however, if the town was failing in any and every or any area, many would be more than happy to give the mayor full credit for that, regardless if it was my fault directly, indirectly, or not at all. So don't let that double standard be applied to our success either. After this election, I will immediately, as I have in the past, work with all of the people who count on us every day, regardless of where they stood during this election. I've done that in the past, and I will continue that in the future as well. We are all neighbors, colleagues, and many times friends, as well as the family known as the town of Sykesville. Let's keep building on the success we've had over the last 8 years, while also expanding our sights on the future. You can rest assured on that as well. I will not rest on my laurels. I will continue to deliver for you, the citizens of Sykesville. Thank you, and I ask for your support from Ian Shaw for mayor on May 4th. Good night to you all. May God bless you, and God bless America. And thanks again, Steve. And the
Thank you, Mayor Shaw. Greatly appreciated. And now that does conclude the mayoral candidates forum for this evening. I want to thank both candidates for their participation this evening, and again for the public submitting the questions. The election again will be held Tuesday, May 4th from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. at the townhouse, which is 7547 Main Street, downtown Sykesville, Maryland. Please get out the vote for the candidate of your choice. In approximately 1 minute, the town council candidates forum will begin. So just about 1 minute we'll go with the town council candidates. Thank you.
Good luck, you guys. Have a good evening.
Yep. Good luck. Thanks a lot. Good night, everybody.
Thanks everybody for joining us again for tonight's election forum. We're going to switch to the candidate forum at this point. There are 3 council positions available. We'll begin with introductions by each council candidate, followed by their 2-minute opening statement. We will start with Council Member Alan Grassley. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Hey, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I want to thank the Carroll Media Center for this forum here. I never thought I'd be doing a council candidate forum from my basement, but that's where we are right now. So, hey, my name is Al Grasley. I'm running for re-election of the Sykesville Town Council. I've been happily married to my wife, Linda, for 24 years. I have 2 children, Catherine, 18, Matthew, 14, and we have lived on Autumn Sky Court for 18 fun-filled years. By trade, I'm a printed circuit board designer working at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. My work requires great focus to detail, continued self-improvement, self-education, and good customer relationships with customers and fellow employees. When my family found Sykesville in 2003, we knew it was the place we wanted to raise our children. It had quaint neighborhoods, family events, parks, and Main Street, and of course, it was just a perfect place to be. And, I've had good working relationships with people on the town council since I've been there for 8 years. Over the last 8 years, my voting record has been to decrease taxes, not increase taxes, to approve funds for the stabilization and reserve funds, and I also am a MML graduate. If re-elected, I will continue this. Please vote for me on May 4th. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Council Member Grassley. And next introduction, Elizabeth Guroff.
I moved my family to Sykesville 18 years ago, and I've never looked back. I've raised my boys here, and as many of you currently do, I work from home here right now, and I plan to retire here. My children have spread their wings, and now it's time for me to focus on my outside my family, and I want to give back to the community that's given me and my boys so much. I love our small town feel in our community. I love the families here. I love our Main Street businesses. I want to focus on increasing the connections between Main Street and your street, moving the Warfield project forward, and increasing the engagement of our young adults in the town through a youth council. Professionally, I bring 25 years of work in the mental health and healthcare field and more than 20 years in leadership and executive leadership. Currently, I'm a national subject matter expert, consultant, and executive coach, and I help organizations and communities adopt trauma-informed and resilience-oriented approaches into their work and community cultures in really profound ways. I enjoy the work that I've done nationally, and I'm excited to bring that work and my passion to our hometown. I understand how to collaborate, business structures, budgets, leading multiple departments, and driving new community initiatives. And I humbly ask for your vote to join the town council.
Great, thank you very much, Ms. Guroff. And next, Council Member Leo Keenan.
Thanks, Steve, and thanks for volunteering again tonight. Thanks for everybody who checked in tonight. My name is Leo Keenan. I am currently serving on the town council for Sykesville, where I've been serving for the last 14 years. I was first elected to the town council back in 2007 and have been serving continuously since then. My family moved to Sykesville in 1999. We live over on Wimmer Lane and married. My wife's Patricia. We've got 3 boys and now 2 grandkids who have been grown through this and now are going to local elementary schools. My focus when I joined the council back in 2007 and continuously through then has been Main Street. When I first joined the council in 2007, Main Street was not great. It was Beck's, Baldwin's, some antique stores. I always knew it could be better. I always continuously compared it to what Ellicott City was at the time, and I knew we could be like that. So that's been my focus since 2007, working with the Main Street Association and now the Downtown Sykesville Connection as their liaison And I'm very proud of what we've built over the years, and I hope you will see fit to reelect me for one more term. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, council member. And next for the introduction, Mr. William Mathis.
Good evening. I'm Keith Mathis, and I'm proud to be a candidate for Sykesville Town Council. You might have seen me standing at various intersections with my campaign sign over the past 2 weeks. I appreciate the waves and smiles and meeting so many of you. My wife, Michelle, and I have lived in Maryland for over 35 years. We have 5 sons and 5 grandchildren. There's never a dull moment at our house, believe me. Almost 4 years ago, we were searching for a forever home and found Sykesville. We were drawn to Sykesville by the vibrant downtown, linear trail, and charming ambiance. We are frequent visitors to downtown businesses and enjoy Friday nights on Main Street, the summer farmers market, and of course, getting ice cream with the grandkids at either the Firehouse Creamery, owned by 2 of our neighbors, and Norwood's. I have a master's degree in public administration and a chartered financial consultant designation. After 25 years serving with the Maryland State Medical Society, I'm now a personal financial counselor at Fort Meade, helping soldiers learn the basics of budgeting and financial planning. I've been a volunteer with the Downtown Sykesville Connection and attended council meetings as a resident and currently serve on the Sykesville Board of Zoning Appeals. I support a balanced budget and the possible reduction of town property taxes. The town has improved its bottom line over the last several years, but due to COVID-19, many have been adversely affected on both a personal and financial basis. I support a vibrant downtown Sykesville and acknowledge the great work the Downtown Sykesville Connection has done over the past several years. I support completion of the Warfield project as outlined in the 2030 master plan. I support the 2030 master plan. I support a strong and community-sensitive police department and applaud Chief Spalding for his leadership and service. I'd like to see that continue. I will address other issues in my closing remarks. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mathis. And last but not least, for opening statements, Mr. Frank Robert.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Carrie and Aaron also too, and everybody in TV land tonight. Just want to thank everybody that's willing to listen and learn about who to vote for in the upcoming Sykesville election. And yes, my name is Frank Robert. And with your help, I look forward to representing you on the next Sykesville Town Council to keep Sykesville the best place to raise a family. Sykesville is in a great place right now. It's moving in the right direction. That's why I want to keep it going in the right track. And let's keep it going. The reality is that a lot of issues will come and go, as you can see, just in the last few years. What's important today may not be what's most important next year or 2 years from now. So it's important to understand the type of person and their vision for the future. Is that person trustworthy? Do I find them approachable? Will they lead Sykesville to a place that I want to go? Have they walked in my shoes? And do they understand me? I think what you see from tonight too, are they positive or are they negative? And so who am I? My father switched careers. So by the time I was in high school, I lived in 10 different homes. This is one of the reasons that my wife, Beth, and I were so determined to stay local, become involved, and give back to our great community. My wife, Beth, a graduate of the University of Maryland College Park, and is a special ed elementary school teacher at Piney Ridge Elementary. She loves getting to these kids, the younger the better, so that she can help. My daughters attended Piney Ridge, Sykesville Middle, and then Century High School. My past and present careers are helping others, which include middle school teacher, college administrator, medical sales rep, and since 2010, I'm the Associate Director of the Mid-Atlantic United Methodist Foundation, helping churches in the region. I'll be telling more at the end of my closing remarks. Thank you, Steve, and everybody for getting us oriented tonight. I hope everybody stays awake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Greatly appreciated. We'll try to keep everybody awake. Okay, great. So I will ask the candidates for council a series of questions. These are a mix of pre-prepared questions as well as those we received from the public via email. Most, if not all, the questions will be the same that were asked of the mayoral candidates. I will ask potentially follow-up questions based on the responses received. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question, and all candidates will be asked the same questions. At the conclusion of the question and answer period, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a summary statement. We will be timing the responses, and if there's a signal there, if your time runs out, you may be muted. With that said, let's start with the questions. The first question tonight, actually, we're going to take it right back to you, Mr. Robert. And for you, what are the top 3 priorities you see for the town? Actually, since we have 1 minute, let's do top 2 priorities for the town and how would you address them?
Great. I think it's great. Safety and technology. When I was first elected in 2007 with the Upward Sykesville guys, which was one of the top 10 most important things in 2007. So that was pretty cool. But one of the first things we did was put Wi-Fi in town. Second thing, we started getting solar panels oriented to. And the other second thing that's most important, I think, is safety. We see it from the small businesses. They'll leave Sykesville to go someplace cheaper, realize that it's not as safe, and they'll come right back to town if they can get back in. As we all know, there's a wait list of businesses trying to get into downtown. So safety is one of the crucial things that we need to deal with. Thank you, Steve.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Robert. And same question to you, Mr. Mathis. What are the top 2 priorities you see for the town and how would you address them?
Well, I think number 1 would be development of the Warfield project. I have talked with the developers and I know they have a strong interest in getting the completion, the project completed. Also, I know the town council wants to get the project completed and the public, everyone wants it done. I think even in the town 2030 plan, it talks about flexibility as things change. So I think they need to get together. Everyone needs to get together and try to work this out. Other is Main Street. The economic impact of Main Street is really important. And that would include, continuing improvement of the park, sidewalks, roadway, outdoor gathering spaces, and seating. All this will help. And I think one of the best things about Sykesville is the charming downtown area, and we need to keep working on it and improving it.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Mathis. And we're going to go to you, Councilmember Keenan. Same question. What are the top 2 priorities you see for the town and how would you address them?
Thanks, Steve. Number 1 is maintaining the small town feel that everybody loves by continuing to work with the downtown Sykesville connection and making sure that small businesses come to town and stay to town. Like Mr. Roberts said, there is a waiting list. We are fortunate that we have all our retail space now filled up. So I'm glad to see that. And I want to make sure that continues. Then the other priority I see is what's been brought up earlier is connectivity. That's a top priority that needs to be done, making sure there's connectivity with the new town section, the old town section, down to Main Street and across the other side of Route 32. I want to make sure that there's connectivity and a way for everybody to get downtown that's not involving driving, walking, biking, whatever we can do, but that needs to be a top priority.
Great. Thank you very much for your responses. And the same question to you, Ms. Guroff. What are the top 2 priorities you see for the town and how would you address them?
For me, I think it's the development plan, including Warfield and downtown Main Street, and then connectivity. So, connectivity I see as both physically being able to walk around town. I would love to see us get a trolley into our residences during all of our festivals so that people don't have to park downtown or try and walk the hills until we can figure out the sidewalk issues. And in terms of connectivity, I think we also have to look at the infrastructure that people have been talking about tonight. We're all working from home. We're all needing more bandwidth and those kinds of access. And then working on maintaining the town's feel, whether it's building in downtown or the Warfield project.
Great. Thank you very much for your response. And now to you, Councilmember Grassley. What are the top 2 priorities you see for the town and how would you address them?
Steve, I had 3 ready though. So hey,
Pick your best
So maintain quality services. I think the current level of services the town has is just phenomenal between the public works, the police department and the town staff. We've really got a top rate staff and people working for us right now. I really want to keep them here, keep them happy, and also just keep the level up. I really think the community policing has been awesome. The services we offer, the snow removal, I've ran into people who have just moved here or residents here, been a long time. They're impressed with the services, recycling, and of course the bulk pickup last week. It's always exciting to see everybody around town. The second one is the fiscal responsibility. I want to see the town to continue to on our track of not borrowing, keeping the tax rate low, and this will give us more flexibility in the future if something happens that are unseen, like a pandemic, or maybe some state or county funding.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilmember Grassley. We're going to go on to the next question here. And we will ask on this one, Ms. Guroff, what are your thoughts and vision for the future of Sykesville?
I think, as everyone's mentioned, safety is a huge priority. As you can hear, we all have family here. We all live here. We love it here. I think also maintaining that small town feel and charm and preserving our historic district. We're really proud of our history here, and I'd like to see that maintained in our buildings and in the feel of town. I love our unique shops on Main Street, and I think we need to really continue to engage citizens on all levels at all ages. And then back to that connectivity piece, whether it's walking and trying to get around town or, being able to access things from our home.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Keith Mathis. What are your thoughts and vision for the future of Sykesville?
Very good. Well, if I'm elected, I'm going to continually seek input from residents and merchants. And for this particular question, I asked probably the major merchant in downtown Sykesville. And they told me that the future vision they think is keep investing in infrastructure so the town can continue to grow, continue to explore grants that bring money to facade improvements and open space improvements, and connect the local neighborhoods to downtown through sidewalks and trails. I mean, to keep the small town feel, we definitely want people to be able to come downtown, the connectivity, and be able to enjoy all the great things that downtown Sykesville has to offer. We have referred so many people downtown, and we've met over the last 4 years and told them how great it is, everything from the French twist, the ice cream shops to Sykesville Junction. It's also wonderful, and we just need to keep working to keep it that way.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Mr. Grassley, and what are your thoughts and vision for the future of Sykesville?
So I really just want to keep Sykesville the place it is. It's a family-orientated place. They have a quaint town, beautiful parks, lots of open space, and a vibrant Main Street. There's been a lot of talk about conductivity and the conductivity study, but the conductivity study has been folded into the master plan, and I'd like to see some of that come to fruition. Just want to keep it going the way it is right now. I think it's in a good spot. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Frank Robert. What are your thoughts and visions for the future of Sykesville?
Thanks, Steve. I got 20, but I'm going to give you 2. And the vision is simple, right? We want to keep it going. I look at the growth between 2007 when Lee and I started with Upward Sykesville, and our goal is to make it a positive place and turn around downtown and make it the best place to raise a family. And you can see where we are. We've gone from there. So it's keep that part going. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about too, I think we want to have an opportunity to thank our employees, the police. I know morale nationwide and locally, thanking these guys and future gals that'll be with us on the police force. And I think thank them and the town workers. So I've got an idea about how to pull that off if elected. So thank you for the opportunity.
Great, thank you very much. And Councilmember Keenan, same question for you. What are your thoughts and vision for the future of Sykesville?
Thanks, Steve. I'm going to parrot a lot of what other people have said about maintaining the small town feel in Sykesville. I think the downtown Sykesville connection has been huge for that, and the partnership between the town and downtown Sykesville connection needs to continue. The other thing that we really need to focus on for the future, though, is the Warfield project. I heard Mr. Mathis say a little earlier today that we need to be flexible, and that concerns me greatly. I've been on the council for 14 years and have been dealing with this Warfield project since that time. There is a contract we have with the current developer on preserving these historic buildings. There cannot be any flexibility about that. We need to keep their feet to the fire, just as was mentioned in the mayor debate. That to me is a main priority for our future that we need to stick to.
Great, thank you very much. And we will move on to the next question this evening. We'll start with you, Mr. Mathis. And that question is, how would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
Well, I think the main thing with that, like I say, I'm a volunteer with the Downtown Sykesville Connection. I think the key to that is to work for the council to work with the Downtown Sykesville Connection, the Merchants Association, and seek input and from all groups involved, seek grants where we can get grants, and encourage events. All the events that we have, everything from the farmers market to the wine festival and everything else, just keep encouraging these events and let people know how great downtown Sykesville is and the residents, and continually fund events and put in the budget to be able to give downtown Sykesville Connection 50,000 or maybe even more in the future.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Council Member Grasley. How would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
So, continue supporting the DSC. Obviously, I'm amazed after this past year, the ideas that organization came up to keep downtown Sykesville in the social media spotlight, just on people's front minds. It really was something to see. I've been the business liaison for 4 years and dealing with the merchants down there, how there's some talented people down there that come up with some great ideas, especially during this last year. And being able to offer some in-kind services from the town as the business liaison has really helped and sustained them, I think. I hope they would think that. As for growth, I'm really excited about some of the things the master plan has in it. There's some growth opportunities for more businesses, and they're trying to expand Main Street to where Old Town Motors is, that whole area being considered downtown. I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's a good way to go. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Elizabeth Guroff. How would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
I think you've heard it from all of us. Downtown Sykesville Connection is a huge, huge asset for everything that we're doing down there in terms of branding, what's going on, identifying us as a cool small town, and really helping with marketing and bringing those businesses in. You've heard other members talk, right? We've got this long list. People want to come here, and it's a great way to keep everything going. I think we also, as the town council, have to continue to stay really connected in supporting the businesses and maintaining really positive relationships, whether it's with the businesses or the property owners down there, and the town council being visible and supporting them in everything that they do.
Great, thank you very much. And the same question to you, Council Member Keenan. How would you encourage business sustainability and growth in the town?
I'm going to sound like everybody else, but it's keeping up the relationship with the Downtown Sykesville Connection. I was part of it when it was the Main Street Association and when Ivy Wells was a town employee as the downtown or Main Street manager. And I was the one who pushed hard to separate the Downtown Sykesville Connection from the town and make it its own independent entity. And thanks to the work of Ivy Wells and Julie Della Maria and their incredible work in making everything happen, Main Street is what it is today. The Downtown Sykesville Connection, especially through Julie, has gotten grants that have kept the businesses sustainable through this pandemic with the rent relief and with facade grants. It's just been an incredible relationship, and I want to see it continue.
Great, thank you very much. And Frank Robert, to you.
Yeah, let me get on the bandwagon too. I think we're all doing the same thing here. Once again, yeah, Lee and I were the first group. We hired Ivy Wells. That was the key thing. We went into the businesses and asked what they needed, and they needed support and of course monetary support too. But I think just the fact hiring somebody like a Main Street manager that would be able to cater to their needs and help them out, I think that was huge. And so that was the first part of really turning around downtown. So that was one of the great things too. Obviously through COVID, having the additional grants. I know Leo's worked with them getting their 990 out. I work with nonprofits. I work with churches, and many churches try to start their own 501c3s. I've got some ideas that can help them also on that area too, and happy to do so. But I think you're right. It's a jewel of the town, and we need to make sure that we continue to polish that jewel. So thank you, guys.
Great. Well, thank you very much. It sounds like DSC is doing a great job, and I think we all know that doing a great job for the town. So you guys have all given shout outs, as well as the two mayoral candidates to the DSC, and they do a tremendous job. So thank them and you all for recognizing that. We're going to change gears here for just a little bit and talk about a very large development project for just a question or two. This first question is, what do you believe is the biggest challenge that Warfield development currently faces? And let's go to Council Member Alan Grassley for that first.
Sure. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Warfield. I think there's a little misinformation out there. We do have a plan that we did with Warfield, and if they make any changes to that plan, they would have to go through three elected bodies: the Planning Commission, the Historic District Commission, and then it would have to come to the council for approval. So all three of those bodies would take public comment. If there's something that somebody doesn't like about it, I'm sure your comments will be heard. Another thing is we currently have $1 million. I'm looking at the Treasury report from March. There's $1 million in escrow for Warfield, and of course they defaulted on another $1 million. So we do have some money. They do have some money in the game. Obviously, I'm a little disappointed in the revitalization of the historic buildings. That hasn't been happening. And this past year with COVID, it's been very challenging to get anything done out of them. So I'm upset like everybody else, but I'm hoping that they can get it done.
Thank you very much. And just a clarification, the bodies you had mentioned, two of the bodies are appointed. That's the Planning Commission and Historic District, and the council is the elected body. So just a little clarification there for the citizens out there. That sounds great. We're going to, same question, we'll ask Council Member Keenan. What do you believe is the biggest challenge that the Warfield development currently faces?
The biggest challenge is keeping the developers' feet to the fire and doing what they've agreed to do under the contract we have with them. As Councilmember Grasley said, there is some misinformation out there, but part of that is being fostered by the developer as well, by going around us and trying to have private meetings with some town residents and keeping, as Mayor Shaw mentioned earlier, locking him out of a meeting. Yes, they have to go through town bodies to make changes, but they can also, and they're trying to do this, go to the state and county level to have them step on us to make the changes that the developer wants to make. We need to keep their feet to the fire on what they've agreed to do with these historic buildings, or we're ultimately going to lose these historic buildings. And I do not want to see that happen. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Mr. Robert, what do you believe is the biggest challenge that Warfield development currently faces?
Exactly. When this all started, when the state was accessing this land, the state, county, and then the town. So we actually jumped in because we wanted to have control over what was going on. We didn't want it to be fostered on us. This way we could at least try to guide the process of the redevelopment of the land over there. So that's a little bit of the backstory. It took a long time to get everybody to buy off on it. And once again, I totally agree with what has been said already. There's 3 different levels to make any changes. They are trying, it appears to have some end runs. I look forward to meeting with them. I know they've met with some of the county commissioners when they were running for elections. So it's gonna be very interesting as we all get together. But I agree, keep them to the agreement and hold their feet to the fire, as Councilman Keenan said. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Keith Mathis. What do you believe is the biggest challenge the Warfield development currently faces?
Well, to Leo's point, I'm not saying that the council isn't being flexible. I mentioned to a couple of people on this call in the last few days that I feel a bit like Alice in Wonderland, trying to chase the rabbit down the hole to get to the truth of what's going on in both sides. And all of us, were invited to get a brief, by the developers, and I was briefed. And to me, it's just with the comprehensive plan called for flexibility with things changing. There's a glut of commercial property. There is more of a Zoom community now, people working home. It would be great if it could be sort of like Maple on, and Howard County, and it would be buildings and residences and commercial, and maybe that can happen. I just think we need to maybe go back to the drawing board, or me go to the drawing board. I would only be one vote if I was on the council, but I'm willing just to listen and try to figure it out. That's all.
Great, thank you very much. And the same question to you, Elizabeth Guroff. What do you believe is the biggest challenge the Warfield development currently faces?
So I think you've heard the concerns about being off schedule and the conflict between the developer and our vision for those historic buildings. You know, that's our history. And I think everyone I've talked to is really tied to the importance of that. But I think we're really lost in communication and connection. We're not at the same table. We're not working together. And ultimately, those are our buildings. That's our location. This is our town. I think we need to figure out how to get them back to the table with us and plan together, as opposed to, like Leo said, right? Not having someone do an end run, not having one group headed one direction and us wanting a different thing. And so as council member, I would absolutely try and get everyone back to the table and get a joint vision so that we can get the movement forward. And we have to save the buildings. So I don't think residential in the historic buildings is going to work. And you know, we're a small town. So how do we keep that feel there and get the developers working with us and together, I think is really important.
Great, thank you very much. And thank everybody for their answers to that question. I've been involved in that for about as many years as all of you as well, and would love to see development continuing there. Let's change gears for just a moment. Councilmember Keenan will come to you first on this question. And that question is, can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town of Sykesville, and your plan to utilize it in the future?
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty easy for me because I've been involved in that program since the day I came on the council in 2007. First as the Main Street Association, and now as the Downtown Sykesville Connection. It's basically a private public partnership with the town now, where the Downtown Sykesville Connection is its own separate entity, a nonprofit organization that is here to foster Main Street and its businesses, and has done an incredible job over the past several years with grants, festivals, farmers market, bringing people downtown. Looking forward to continuing that, looking forward to continue to support them. Even after my time on the council is done at some point in the future, I still plan on being involved with Main Street, with the Downtown Sykesville Connection, involved as a volunteer. I think they do a great job, and I'm confident the town will continue to support the Downtown Sykesville Connection financially.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Elizabeth Guroff. It is, can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town of Sykesville, and how do you plan to utilize that if elected?
So I think you've heard it all through the mayors, and right, we're going to keep repeating each other's answers. We love downtown. We love the Downtown Sykesville Connection, what it's brought to Main Street in terms of, you know, diversity of different types of businesses. We even ended up with 2 ice cream shops. You know, there was about a 3-year campaign to get ice cream on Main Street. I think we overdid it, but they're all great shops, you know, so they've done a great job. The business owners are so invested. They're all local. They all, you know, we're connected by children and family and friends and churches. And so I think the more we stay connected with those businesses, the more that we bring in the grants, you know, that Leah's talked about, that Julie's done an incredible job of getting, just the stronger we become as a community.
Great, well, thank you very much. And the same question to you, Mr. Mathis. Can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town, and how you plan to utilize it if elected?
Well, my wife and my oldest son are both attorneys. So I would just like to replay what Leo said as an attorney. And that's my point on this. No, actually, the Main Street project, it's, you know, everything that I have learned about it since coming here, I think it's fantastic. And we were the best Main Street in America, you know. And I think if I am elected, I would want to continue to support the Main Street program and everything that it stands for. And it's just wonderful, and to tell people that we're the coolest, you know, small town in America, the best Main Street. You know, I think it adds a lot of value to the town, and especially if you're getting future grants and interest in the state and helping us fund things.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Council Member Grassley, can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town, and how you plan to utilize it?
Sure. I will say that the 2 ice cream shops on Main Street is not helping my waistline. So I just wanted to put that out there. I mean, what more can I say? Everybody's kind of said it. I think, 4 years ago when we got the DSC out of the townhouse and kind of got them on their own, they really just exploded and flourished. Great ideas coming out of that place about, again, keeping Main Street on people's radar and having them come down. Even during the pandemic, there's been a lot of great events. And, Julie pivoted during the COVID. We did some different things. I really enjoyed the poker run with the motorcycles, the golf tournament. It's just been great. I think everybody understands the importance of Main Street in Sykesville and how it's our town and it's our Main Street, and everybody's excited to be part of it. So thanks.
Great, thank you very much. And last but not least, Frank Robert, the same question to you. Can you explain your understanding of the Main Street program, its value for the town of Sykesville, and how you plan to utilize it?
Thanks, Steve. And I utilize it all the time. So I go out, I talk to churches all over from DC, Maryland, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. I always tell them I'm from Sykesville, the coolest small town in America. And so I always invite them in too. And we get people that come from all sorts because of that. So it's a great opportunity to do PR for our town, and that's exactly what it's for. The fact that you got businesses waiting to get in there tells you something you need. The part of the master plan saying how can we get a few more businesses in there without destroying the feel of that wonderful down home Main Street feel. So that's all that we're trying to do. Once again, I think there's some technical things we can help with. What they want an endowment, where there's some ways they can get some plain giving. There's some things that we could help them out even more. But I'm really happy the way they're going so far. So thanks for the good question.
Great, thank you so much. And that came from one of our, no, I'm sorry. Yes, that did come from one of our citizens. And next question, again, one from one of our citizens. And we'll ask Mr. Keith Mathis this one first. What do you see as the biggest challenge the next administration faces? And how will you see that it is taken care of?
Well, I think we're beating a dead horse in a way. I think the challenge is Warfield. I really do. I mean, it's obviously you all have been in the council, have been dealing with this for years and years and years. And, it should be done. Everybody wants it done. But if I'm elected, I am only one of 7 votes. So regardless of what my feeling is, there would have to be a consensus on with the council and the mayor all voting to move ahead or make changes as needed. And so I think that is the biggest challenge. It's not easy, but I think we need to listen to each other and just look at impact studies that have been done and see where the money can come in and get the job done and what impact it will have on improving the town according to the 2030 master plan.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Frank Robert. What do you see as the biggest challenge this next administration faces, and how will you take care of that?
Great, good question. Thanks, Steve. So one of the big things that I think the mayor's knocked on every door. Al has walked on, he's probably knocked on almost every door, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way there, going around town to town, knocking on every single door in town. And I'm asking them, what are the issues? What are the issues? And 95% just love exactly what's going on in the town. They love the Main Street program. They love the fact that, they yell at me, says, don't raise my taxes. So I hear that loud and clear. So that's not something I've never voted for. So, and I hear concern about police. So I think there's a bunch, they keep it going. There's some things that we got to watch out for. Warfield is one, but I think we're on the right path and we want to keep that path going. So that's where I am.
Great, thank you very much. And Councilmember Keenan, same question to you. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing this next administration, and how will you take care of that?
Obviously Warfield, but in addition to that, I think some infrastructure that we need to start dealing with, especially sewer, sidewalks, the connectivity. So for me, really, Warfield's first. Second is infrastructure, the sewers, drainage, sidewalks, and getting the connectivity to town. That's the biggest issue we're going to face after Warfield.
Great, thank you very much. Elizabeth Guroff, same question to you. What do you see as the biggest challenge the next administration faces, and how will you take care of that?
So I think we've talked a lot about them today, but I think the biggest ones really are communication and connection. As a town resident, you've heard, even on this call, and on the mayor's discussion, that not all the information is getting out to everybody. And so there's a lot of, we make up stories or we don't know exactly what's going on. So I think improving that communication of all the great things that are going on. We have an incredible police force. We are incredibly safe here, but we don't hear some of the amazing things that they do, and some of the calls and things that they respond to. As Leo mentioned, some of the infrastructure, as a resident, it's helpful to know where our strengths and weaknesses are so that we know and can support the town council in some of those decisions about where to start putting specific dollars to. So I think increasing the communication about what's going right and where our challenges are with all of them, with all of our residents, is really important going forward.
Great, well, thank you very much. And last but not least, to you, Councilmember Grassley, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing this next administration, and how will you take care of it if elected?
So I'm going to go say something a little bit different, although everybody's got a little bit of a different take on things. I really think one of the biggest challenges we're going to have is maintaining quality employees and keeping the level of services we're at right now. I think we need to stay competitive with other communities with pay and benefits, and I think that'll be, I'll be kind of focused on that, I guess. Along with the infrastructure, I kind of agree with Leo Keenan there. There are some sidewalks that have been around for 25, 30 years that are in need of repair. And the connectivity thing, I think, will be taken care of in the master plan. But none of that stuff is harder to do if we don't have quality employees. And right now, I really think our employees in the town are just awesome. So that would be it.
Great, thank you. I concur with the town team here. We have a great town team, that is for sure. Okay, the next question, we're going to start with Mr. Robert. And let's go back to that comprehensive plan we've mentioned a few times today. There are a lot of great ideas in the proposed 10-year comprehensive plan. It has not been accepted yet. It is a proposed plan, so just want to clarify that. But for you and for each member, what is the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited? We'll start with Frank Robert.
Great, thanks. Yeah, and once again, going door to door, it's surprising what you hear. 95% of people, everything is wonderful. But one of the common themes are, can I walk downtown, without having to go on the roads? Can I get some trails to go through? So I think the trails, the walkways, the build out, those are sort of the key things. Once again, I want to be very mindful of not hurting our current businesses. Beck's and Sykesville Station and the different restaurants that we have and the businesses, Likely Story Bookstore. I think we need to be mindful of protecting them. So once again, being very careful about how we go about this build out, but obviously there's demand for businesses that want to get downtown, and there's demand also for people to be able to walk downtown and get back. So I think that's one of the key things that I want to see and excited about in the master plan.
Great, thank you very much. Same question to you, Councilmember Grassley. What is the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited?
So I kind of like the extending of Main Street up to Springfield Avenue by Old Town Motors. I really think that's kind of cool, and I like the utilizing the space right in the downtown area for more businesses down there. Like everybody else, Frank mentioned it. There's a lot of people who want to be able to walk down the Main Street, so connectivity is a big thing. Steve, you're not gonna take out the sidewalks on the master plan, are you, before you approve it? Not
my goal.
Not your goal, yeah. So obviously they did a connectivity study, and that's been folded into the master plan. So I really think that that'll be the plan for the next 10 years of how to get people to walk down to Sykesville, down to the downtown area, and hopefully it'll be expanding. So that gets me excited.
Great, thank you so much. Elizabeth Guroff, same question to you. What is the primary vision and goal discussed in the proposed plan that gets you the most excited?
The sidewalks. So I'm over on First. I have the option of going the long way down Springfield and building my calves, or, hoping I don't get hit running down Spout Hill. So having a safe way to get there and connecting everything else. I love the nature here. I sit in my house and, we're all on Zoom calls all day and everyone keeps asking me about the birds that I have. It's such a great space. And so keeping that small town feel, but really making it more accessible is really exciting.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your answer. Same question to you, Councilmember Keenan. Proposed 10-year comprehensive plan. What is the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited?
Unfortunately, it's going to be repeating what everybody else said. It's the connectivity. That's been a huge challenge, but I think we're going to finally be able to address that and take care of that. The connectivity to the neighborhoods, to the parks, to Main Street, through sidewalks, through, like even Elizabeth said, maybe a trolley. We discussed that at one point a couple of years ago, a trolley from Warfield to downtown, because we were hoping businesses and offices were going to be over in Warfield, and we'd have a connection with a trolley, bringing those workers down to Main Street, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. But with regard to the plan, definitely connectivity and just being able to make this a walkable and livable community again.
Great. Same question to you, Mr. Mathis. And 10-year comprehensive plan was the primary vision and goal discussed in the plan that gets you the most excited?
I hate to agree with an attorney again, but I guess I'm going to have to. Well, if you look at the master plan on actually on page, let's see, 26, it talks about accessibility and connectivity. And I invite all the residents to look at this plan. It's wonderful. When I first looked at it, it's a marvelous plan. I'm big into getting a lot of steps in every day. Over the last 4 years, we visit all different parts of Sykesville and, campaigning, I'm doing the same thing. And I didn't even understand, the issues, but now I fully understand to have, better sidewalks, to go to the skating park safely with my grandkids. We walk down, we're on Harmon Drive, we walk downtown to the shops and everything, and just to be able to safely do it, get your steps in and be safe doing it. So I think it's going to be wonderful to complete that. And it makes just so much sense for safety and the vibrancy of downtown and everything else.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I've got a fun question next for all of everyone. And let's go ahead and start this one. Keith, I'm going to turn it back to you again, okay? And that question is, if the town was given $1 million to use on anything and you were the sole decision maker, what would you do with the money? It's to you, Mr. Mathis.
Well, I think there is some disparity in town. Not to mention any names, I think there could be some things done to improve some of the houses for the people that aren't as well off as other people in town. So I think some of that money could go for town projects, but I'd like to see many people in town that don't have quite as much repair their properties. You can do that with private money, but if I had $1 million, I think half of it would go to helping people improve their houses and living conditions, and try to raise private money to match that. I think it'd be a good look for the town to try to help all of us, have a thriving and safe and good life and a nice place to live.
Great. Thank you very much for that answer. Same question to you, Elizabeth Guroff. If you had $1 million and you were the sole decision maker, how would you spend that for the town?
Well, Steve, I got to tell you, I don't make any decisions in isolation. So I would ask everybody. I think it's really hard for any one of us. That's why we have 6 people on the town council to make anything in isolation. So, I love Keith's idea of helping town members and townspeople. I think, we have to make sure that we're taking care of our downtown, the infrastructure, things that will last beyond us. I'd absolutely invest some of that in Warfield and protect those buildings, because I think our history is just as important as our future.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Councilmember Grassley, town was given $1 million to use on anything and you were the sole decision maker. What would you do with the money?
So sole decision maker, that's something new on the council. Not, you're never able to make your own decision up. So, I mean, I would probably invest it in infrastructure. One thing that comes to mind is maybe a pole barn or a roof for the trash trucks so that we could get some more life out of them. Some sidewalk repair, something to make the town a little better and maybe to get more life out of our current assets. I wouldn't want to buy anything that is a maintenance cost further down the road. Obviously, it'd be something to enhance so that our budget could take it and get a little better. That's what I do with it.
Great, thank you very much. Frank, Robert, to you, if you had $1 million, the town had $1 million and you were the sole decision maker, how would you spend it?
Great. Once again, yeah, with that caveat that the whole council would have to buy into it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got several ideas. So pickleball courts, that came up on several, knocking on doors. So broadband, obviously there's some areas of the town that we need to get broadband into. I'd love to get some broadband over to at least Cooper Park and some disadvantaged areas that we have in town. And also I'd love to do something with a disaster preparedness, just so that we're ready in case someday something happens major, that the town would have really a good setup for it. Thank you.
Great, and lastly to you, Council Member Keenan, $1 million the town has, and you were the sole decision maker. How would you spend it?
And I can't just run off with it, right?
No, not
Okay,
allowed.
okay, all right.
You're an attorney, you know that.
Probably find a way to enhance and expand the parking downtown. There was conversations earlier in the mayor's debate about parking. There are some issues, but it's not 24/7 parking issues, but seeing what we could do to enhance and expand that. Seeing what we could do to rehab the Sandusky building and make it a usable building for whether an arts center or a youth center or whatever it could be to benefit the town. But right now it's just sitting there. I think that's a great asset that we have that we're just not able to utilize at this point. And then take the rest and see what we could do to help out the Public Works Department, Police Department, Town Hall, just shore up our current structures that we have now. Spread it out, but make sure we use it wisely.
Great. Thank you very much for the answer there. It's interesting. Hearing everybody and some of the most important things, I thought connectivity capital dollars may be one of the top priorities there for the $1 million. Because as we all know, it costs a lot of money to get from point A to point B for infrastructure improvements. Having said that, let's go on to the next question. And Councilmember Grassley, we're going to start with you on this one. And let me find the question here. This was talked about a lot in the mayoral forum. So I'd like to hear everybody's viewpoint on the property at 714 Sandusky Road, which I believe Mayor Shaw referred to as one of the assets. And we got clarification on that. That was the asset. What is your position today with regard to the use of that property? And again, we'll start with Councilmember Grassley.
So I'm happy we acquired that asset. I think it's enhanced the parking downtown. I think there was some talk of selling it at one point in time, but at the current time, our master plan was not updated. So it was kind of like just placing things in and out. I'm interested to see how that will fit into the master plan and go from there.
Great, thank you very much. We're going to ask the same question to you, Frank, Robert, concerning 714 Sandusky Avenue. What's your position today with regard to the use of that property?
Great. And so just so everybody knows, this is up behind Beck's, in between Beck's and the storage shed and things like that too, where the maintenance guys keep their trucks. So it's down below there, just down from Little Sykes Railroad. And when the town acquired it, obviously it was wonderful to get all of those parking spaces. So I would not want to give away those parking spaces easily. The other thing that people don't realize is that part of Beck's parking lot actually is owned by the town too. So there's some space there that we have also. But once again, parking, if it's an issue or not, some people say it's not. At times it can be, but it's nice to be ahead of the curve on the whole situation. The buildings themselves, I think probably could use some renovation. So that's one of the issues to look into. But yeah, utilizing that there's some great ideas that are being brought around. I'd love to run around the council and get their ideas on it.
Great, thank you very much. Good answers. Let's go to Councilmember Leo Keenan. Same question to you for the 714 Sandusky Road, and what's your position today with the use of that property?
Well, I would like to go back to when we did purchase it. It's killing me that we had an opportunity to have the 1623 Brewery take over that spot and establish their business there. And it was a time-sensitive thing, and unfortunately, some people on the council just couldn't pull the trigger in time, and we lost it. And that's a great loss to our town. But we still hold it. I think we need to rehab it. Again, what I talked to about after the last question was an arts center, youth center, combination thereof, but something that would benefit the town and the town residents for them to use on a regular basis.
Great, thank you very much. And same question to you, Keith Mathis, 714 Sandusky Road, and what's your position today with the use of that property?
I agree. I think it's sad that 1623 went to the exchange rather than to that property. I think that would have been a good thing for the town. Having said that, my church is involved in a lot of outreach, and we, did the tractor treat, and that space was really good for all the tractor and all the cars and to park. And that just showed me that this is really a great space for parking. So I think it should be utilized mostly for parking, maybe something on a smaller commercial basis, but it's a wonderful space, and obviously the town needs more parking. I think that would be a primary use for it.
Great, thank you very much. And to you, Elizabeth Guroff, the same question, 714 Sandusky Avenue, and what's your position today concerning that property?
Yeah, so I think this goes back to that communication piece, that the town acquired it as a resident. I'm not aware of what the intent was in terms of stepping forward there. So I would probably start with some more research. But I think, one thing that I loved seeing there was when our farmers market was there, and we had the ability to kind of go under shelter and still maintain those things. So something that could really bring value to the town, whether it's a community center or connecting more with the farmers market and enhancing those outside activities. But I'd want to get more input from the town, from townspeople, in terms of what we really need in that space.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I happen to be looking at the time, and I think we are out of time for questions. So in reverse order of the introductions, we are going to allow the candidates, I believe it is 2 minutes for closing statements. So having said that, we will start with Mr. Frank Robert.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everybody. If you're still watching, not asleep yet, that's great. It's important. And I just want to thank everybody, Elizabeth and Keith, Leo, Steve, and my buddy Al. So, and it was great to see the mayor and the challenger duking it out tonight. And I think it's great to see you get a sense of the personality of the people's, their thought process. I think that's really important. And so that's one of the key things. The issues, as he said, are going to come and go. You've seen when Leo and myself, so it was a lawyer, was an accountant, and an MBA, and we're like, okay, we're going to create Upward Sykesville, and we're going to turn this town around and see where it's gone. So we didn't do it by ourselves. We just started it, and we got people involved. And so we didn't do the legwork, but we did get the first part of it started. And I am very proud of that. I know Leo's proud of that, and Scott, I know, is proud of it too. So it was a great opportunity for us to do that. And small towns were dying. We're able to get this, and it's a wonderful place. People call it Mayberry. We call it home, and it's a great place. And so we intentionally, love to give back and love to be extra effort on this. I'll read off a couple of things just because it's a campaign. What did I accomplish when I was there? So I talked about doing the solar panels. We started doing the golf outing for the town too. There's just so many different things. We did the military memorial. So one of the things I started there too. So there was just so many different things we did. But the main thing is we opened up the town. We made it accessible. You can see the transparency, and we did it in a positive way. And so just want to keep it positive. I appreciate everybody's positive attitude tonight, and I just appreciate the opportunity. So I hope that you have a chance to keep the town on the same way. And I'm Frank Robert, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberts. We're going to go to you, Mr. Mathis, for your closing statement.
Okay. I sometimes regret having left public service for the private sector. As a young man, I had just earned my master's in public administration. I secured a position in DC with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and then I worked for a congressional commission. We cannot, of course, go back and change the past, but we can go forward. If I win one of the 3 seats, I'll proudly serve. But if I don't win, I will continue to volunteer with the Downtown Sykesville Connection and serve on a town board or committee. I believe in fiscal responsibility and making prudent investments in public safety, sanitation, parks, and recreation to maintain and improve our town. I believe that the many years of financial planning and budgeting will be an asset to the town council. Balancing sustained growth, protecting the environment, and being financially responsible require research and deliberation. I will solicit public input and work hard to keep Sykesville a great community where families and individuals can safely live and thrive. My campaign slogan is Sykesville, the town we love so well. My vision is for a town where we work together and can agree to disagree in an agreeable fashion and respect each other. One of my passions is masters track and field. I am nationally ranked as a competitor in the decathlon and several individual events. I will take that same passion and dedication to be successful in sport and apply it to the council. I'd actually be more comfortable challenge you guys to decathlon and see if you can beat a 68-year-old guy in 100 meters. I don't think so, but maybe that's for another day for charity. But anyway, please vote for me on May 4th. I'm running against incumbents. I'm trying to get my name out there. No one is working harder than I am with mailings, with holding up my sign. And I really appreciate your vote. And it would be a great honor to represent you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mathis. So we're going to turn it over to Leo Keenan, Councilmember Keenan, for his closing statement.
Thanks, Steve. First, I want to give a shout out to all the town employees, Public Works, Police Department, Town Hall employees. We honestly have the best crew that we've had in the 14 years that I've been on the council. The Police Department's excellent. Chief Spalding has been an incredible hire. I couldn't be more pleased with that. The Public Works guys, with everything they do with the trash, the mowing, the recycling, the bulk pickup they did last weekend. They're just doing an amazing job. They're out there at 5 in the morning every day, working hard for us. And then our town manager, Joe, is doing a great job. Jana, Carrie's online right now, helping keep this going. So I'm just really proud of all our town employees. With respect to myself, again, I've been serving on the council for 14 years. I've been very happy to do it. I'm hoping I get to continue to do it. I know people have mentioned I'm an attorney. Don't hold that against me, but I do have a wealth of knowledge with regard to the town, the negotiations we've done over the years with regard to Warfield, the downtown Sykesville connection. I think my knowledge with what I've been doing with the council over the last 14 years will be very helpful continuing forward. So I hope you will vote for me again on May 4th. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Councilmember Keenan. And to you, Elizabeth Guroff, for your closing statements.
So I'm passionate about Sykesville, and I have been for the past 18 years. We have so many amazing families and businesses here. We were named the coolest small town for a reason. I'm excited to be running for town council and to be able to be an active citizen in the town that means so much to me and my children. I bring years of leadership and community involvement with me. I bring a servant leadership style, an interest in engaging everyone's active voice in our decision-making process, and to continue supporting our incredible town service departments, our police force and Chief Spalding, in keeping Sykesville safe, clean, and thriving. Our spirit in town is contagious, and areas around us want what we have. Why wouldn't they? As a town council member, I would continue to be an active participant in our community events and champion the issues that are important to all of us, making our town more walkable and connected, finishing the Warfield project, engaging the voice of all of our citizens, and keeping our town safe. A vote for me means a vote for your voice in driving our town, our youth having a seat at the table in our youth council, and holding the Warfield developer accountable to moving forward appropriate development for that property for our town. I encourage you to contact me directly and get to know me personally. I prefer engaging with people, asking questions, and seeking to understand all perspectives and points of view. Because I've learned as an executive that the more voices we hear, The more diverse opinions and perspectives that we engage, the better our decisions and outcomes are. I would love to see our town destroy any previous voting records that we have. I'd love to see everyone come out and go cast your vote for next town council and our mayor. And I humbly ask for your vote for a seat at our town council table.
Great, thank you very much. And for the last closing statement, Councilmember Alan Grassley.
Hey, Steve, hey, thanks. Leo, there's really nobody else to thank now after you went through that whole list. So I'm just going to kind of ditto what Leo said about thanking everybody. I really appreciate the forum and I really appreciate everybody running. Really, if we didn't have enough candidates to fill the 3 seats, we wouldn't be here talking about our vision of Sykesville. So thank you so much all for running. I've been on the council for 8 years. I think you kind of know the way I vote, the way I think about things. If you do not know the way I vote and think about things, hopefully this forum and the answers to the questions that I gave would help judge the person that I am. I want to keep things going. I want to maintain quality services, be fiscal responsibility, and just keep Sykesville going the way it is. I love this town. And please vote for me on May 4th. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Grassley, and thank all the candidates for our town council, as well as for our mayoral candidates, Councilperson Link, as well as Mayor Ian Shaw. At this point, we are done with the question and answer and closing statements. I'd also like to thank the CMC and our audience and citizens of Sykesville for watching tonight, and all those behind the scenes who put on this presentation from the CNC in the town. I want to remind everybody the election will be held on Tuesday, May 4th from 8 a.m. and polls close at 8 p.m. Please get out and vote for the candidate of your choice. Tonight's candidate forum will be broadcast on cable channels 19 and Carroll County's HD channel 8 HD 1086. It'll also be available for viewing on the Community Media Center's website at www.carrollmediacenter.org. It will also be available on the town's Facebook page. And folks, to you personally who are watching, the right to vote is a privilege. A lot of people lost their lives for here in our country. And local elections can have the most impact on our daily lives. We've seen some great candidates, some great ideas discussed tonight. But most importantly, locally is where we can make an immediate difference in our community and our lives. So please do your civic duty and get out and vote on May 4th for one or many of these fine candidates, as the case may be. That is at the Townhouse from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on May 4th, 7547 Main Street. Thank you for your time and good evening.